Once again, we're going to continue with the installation process. If you can remember from the last chapter, we essentially installed the software, created a database, and it failed due to a listener issue. So what we're going to do is we're going to create the listener software first, so that when the database creates, it has a listener to talk to. So first of all, we need to go into the home directory for the Oracle install, then go into bin, and the first thing we run is the net configuration or network configuration assistant. And this is going to allow us to create the listener configuration. Now what I can do is I can go into another PuTTY session and go into root, log in as Oracle. Yeah, it's automatic, so I don't need to type the password in. TNS ls. Doesn't have a listener file, doesn't have a TNS names file. Remember that from the last chapter? I'm going to go and create it with this tool again. I can create it manually, it's just easier with the tool. Very quick. And the configuration is complete. Finish it. Back to here, list. You can see we now have the listener configuration file. lsnrctl status. Tells me it's actually configured properly. There isn't a database there yet. Now we just run netca. Note that when you exit it, it comes out of Oracle and it goes back into the root user. I think you probably have to execute the X host again. You have to go into the Oracle user. This is another Java tool. It runs from Linux and emulated onto the Windows box. We have to export the display again. And if I'm correct, this particular display or IP address, I think it's 132, we'll soon find out. And now I'm going to run a program called the net manager. This is going to help me create the TNS connection. So I'm creating the listener and the TNS connection before I've even created the database. So if you can see in here, see we have the listener. Here's the configuration for the listener. Now I'm going to go in here and create a service name. Click the plus sign, and again the database. The database is called SI. I typed that a little too fast. Click next. Again, the host is called SI. I click next again, and SI again. Click next, and finish. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save the network configuration. I'm going to exit out of the net manager. It's going to go all the way out to root again. Back into Oracle. I'm going to run the tool again, so I just need to go into TNS. And as you can see, I now have a file called tnsnames.ora. There's no database. What I'm going to do now is to create that database. And as far as I know, because it logged out to root, the display should be disabled. I can quickly check that. Home, bin, dbca. No, it's not giving me, yes, it's giving me an error. It's telling me that X11 is not correct. So I just exited the window. I can do it from the other window. Got to go all the way back and do this all over again. It's a pain in the neck, but that's the way it is. This is not Oracle, it's Windows. So export display equals 192.168.1.132.00 and home and bin and then dbca. Brings up the tool. Next. Click next. I'm just going to go through the basics of this very quickly since we've already done this. And click next again. There's no harm in seeing it twice. I don't need to select anything there, so it's not giving me errors this time. And this is not a secure machine, so I give it a very basic password. Next, it's going to complain about it. I want to continue, leave me alone. Simple file system, click next. I like archiving enabled because it allows me to demonstrate certain things. You don't need any of this stuff. This is a Java application, so it can be a little slow. I always set this higher than 150. It's never been enough for me in the past. Basically you're limiting the number of processes, which is the number of things that can run on the database server. Click Next. It's a little complicated for this course, but what I'm trying to show you here is I'm trying to show you the process, and I'm showing you second time around because I'm trying to help you to actually do it more easily. Click Next. It's quite difficult to install an Oracle database when you don't know what you're doing. Click Finish, because you're likely to come across issues. So I've come across an issue and I've displayed it and showed you how to fix it, and it's running. I'm going to pause it because it takes a long time to run, and you don't want to sit and watch this go round and round. At the end of the database installation process, you should get a screen like this. You shouldn't get any errors. And here's an important piece of information. And we're going to actually go to a notepad, and we're going to do a computer write it down thing to remember it. What that is the address by which we run the thing called Oracle Enterprise Manager, which is a tool we will go into in the next movie. All that is telling you is that it's going to run something over the internet, well, over my local intranet, my local network. It's going to look at a host called SI, it's going to use a port called 1158, and it's going to run something called EM. I'm just going to minimize that, and I don't need any of this other information here. It's just telling me that it's done it properly. Click Exit, and it finishes. And that's the database created again.